The Hessian's terrifying facial features included teeth filed into razor-sharp points and supernatural eyes.
Keep looking all the way down.
Actor Christopher Walken was fitted with special contact lenses to create the effect.
They look fantastic. Sort of like Paul Newman.
Yeah.
The greatest challenge for Walken involved the scenes in which he was required to ride the Hessian's horse, Daredevil.
I come from New York City. I grew up right in Midtown. I don't know anything about horses. I've made some Westerns, but my experience with horses has not been good. I'm afraid of them, and they don't like me much. And I said that to him right away. I said, the Headless Horseman, I can barely ride.
For some of Walken's more difficult riding shots, the filmmakers employed a device developed for a classic film from Hollywood's past.
Yeah, this was built for National Velvet for Elizabeth Taylor and some of the shots she had to do on that. And we've got hold of it, and we've just really brought it up to date, as it were. I mean, as it was mechanically 40 years ago, it was sound. There's nothing we could improve on it.
It'll be skinned and furred, and mechanically, it's going to be able to gallop, full gallop or canter. It'll have a radio-controlled head, so you'll get the full motion of a horse movement, and you get radio-controlled ears, eye blinks. The lips will move, so you get kind of a sneering thing. There'll be steam that can come out the nostrils in those cold, Sleepy Hollow nights.
In the climax to a brutal battle scene, the story of how the Hessian originally lost his head is revealed.
This butcher didn't finally reach his end until the winter of '79. They chopped off his head with his own sword. But now the Hessian wakes. He's on the rampage, cutting off heads where he finds them.
To create the mysterious world of Sleepy Hollow, Burton and his crew traveled to England, where they found the perfect backdrop for the story. Over a 3-month period, the entire community was built from the ground up. The design included a covered bridge, a church, numerous period structures, and a massive windmill. The farmland surrounding the town was stocked with hundreds of sheep, cows, and ducks who would reside on the premises during filming.
We were really transforming this hollow into a living town. One of the things that we were trying to do was inspire a sense of apprehension in the architecture of the place, that there is something wrong here, that there is a sense of foreboding and fear.
It's very magical, and it's wonderful looking. Everything about it is just really, really medieval.
It was something that was very true to the period. At the same time, kind of fairy tale-like or made up. Exactly sort of what you would imagine a Tim Burton village would be. Beautiful. I wanted to live there.
The town is in ferment. Reverend Steenwitz called a meeting in the church tonight. He's going to speak out against you.
As the story unfolds, the distrust between Ichabod and the townspeople grows deeper.
Everybody in this small community has something to hide. You know how difficult it is to hide anything in a small community. Everybody knows everybody else's business, but you don't know all of it. So it's a very paranoid place.
There is a conspiracy here, and I will seek it out.
There's a certain sort of ambiguousness about the characters that's kind of great, and there's a lot about these people that you don't know, which is kind of interesting.
Ready, and action!
The supporting cast of townspeople features a number of acclaimed actors, including Miranda Richardson, Ian McDiarmid, Michael Gambon, Richard Griffiths, Jeffrey Jones, and Michael Goff.
I suppose we're all eccentric in our various ways. I'm the least eccentric of them all, really.
He's chosen us funny people to play the part. I look slightly mad, don't I?
If this person will lays a hand on me, we'll get a bullet!
We all look strange, and I suppose that's why we've been cast.
Together, they just create an interesting combination.
Oh, God!
To convey suspense and a sense of impending doom, Burton created a series of subtle visual effect shots.
What Tim asked us to do was put some kind of demonic faces in the fire to show that evil is present. And he wanted the faces in the fire to kind of erupt out of the fire and then disappear quickly. So it's a very subtle effect. where you're almost not sure if you saw those faces or not.
I took the skull, which you will see in the movie, which is the Headless Horseman's skull. And so I pulled up the eyebrows to give it this demonic look, giving it a strong forehead, bringing up the corners of the mouth, and then pull the jaw around to actually continue to sculpt what would be the fire. So I knew that when the fire would come off, it would have an irregular shape. And here we've got not just one face, but there's a total of 13 in here. So I took that hero that I had, shrunk him down, and started putting more of his little brothers and sisters around here so that you get like a whole family of demonic faces coming out of the fireplace.
Some of the most complex effect shots involve the removal of the horseman's head.
Years ago, you got away with somebody dressed up in a suit, and they had fake shoulders that rested on top of their head. But if you look at it, the proportions of the horseman aren't quite right. His elbows are down towards his waist and things like that.
Instead, the filmmakers searched for a new way to convincingly create the headless effect. A special blue hood was created for the actor. The blue color is easily removed from the picture in the computer, leaving an empty hole. To fill in the space, a clean background plate was shot, but one element was still missing.
The horseman has a large cape and the collar that goes all the way around the back. So it was necessary to not only replace the background where his head would have been, but to also make a digital collar in the computer that was then matched to his movements.
The fact that we used a stunt person and literally erased his head, it plays like this is somebody that's living and breathing inside this, this outfit.
Horseman! He's coming down!
The horseman continues his reign of terror on the residents of Sleepy Hollow, at one point trapping Ichabod and Katrina in an abandoned windmill.
To the roof! I have an idea.
Burton saw this as an unusual location in which to stage a pursuit.
Would you lean on a little bit so you're that side of her?
Yeah.
My only image of windmills is like from the original Frankenstein, in the sense where it's somewhat symbolic of your mind somehow. I'm not quite sure how or why, but maybe it's just sort of the aimlessly spinning quality that represents my mind.
There isn't any windmill that looks like our windmill. The sails are just pure Tim Burton bat wings. There's a wonderful kind of shattered, abandoned mill feel to it, and I love the way it looks.
At over 5 stories high, the windmill set was too large to fit on any soundstage, so it was constructed outdoors.
We had to build this from scratch. The blades are about 1 ton each, so the whole thing, you're probably looking at about 4 or 5 tons. And the blades are controlled by a hydraulic motor, which we can operate from offset.
Let's start rotation, please. Start rotation. We ready? Ready. Rolling. 2, take 1. A and B cameras, come on, mark. Action!
The actors themselves would be riding the sails.
I don't have a great amount of experience with action, so for me it's fun, you know. It's a lot easier than learning your lines, I guess.
We had flaming sticks being shot down directly on top of us. They just filled this like funnel kind of thing, this huge funnel with sticks with flammable glue, and then they brought it up on a crane and they lit it on fire like above the camera, and we're like running.